is up, and then I'll just be a minute or so. I'm looking for something to talk about, same as per usual.
Whoa.
Yep, just gotta watch those boofs, make sure we're not standing really close to the edge in the future for, I mean, depending on what we're seeing, they come out of spawn with.
Yeah.
Whenever we get the chance, we probably are gonna want to go and take high ground, but this, not if the fight's still happening, obviously.
I grew tired of fighting alone. Come over here.
Mercy there was close to dying twice, and then the first time she was close to dying, we kind of like backed up away out of line of sight of her, even though like we weren't really under pressure. And then the second time she's almost dead, we had once again kind of stopped looking at her, even though she was about to come around the corner. So just be careful, make sure we're paying attention and keeping her in a line of sight. Also, we probably could have, after that we had won that fight, probably could have rotated, like even up to where our, like the high ground above us right now, probably would have been half decent. There you go.
Eventually.
All right, so far, yeah. Right now, take high ground, right? Remember, you knew this back one, but that front one might even be like even better. If our team's holding into their spawn, it might even be better because it was closer and to the whole engagement, and it wasn't going to take as long of a rotation.
Get in there.
Make sure that we're nanoing ball, that he's in a position to do something with it. As he's kind of like yeah, it's just really far away from everyone. Also, I think Reaper should be close by now to his.
Yeah, that's bad. Fuck.
Cover usage. You're kind of out of the fight to start the fight, and then yeah, once again. Oh, I guess Reaper did ult at some point. Maybe I missed that.
Yeah, this one's a little weird because our team is just like in their spawn, so I'm not like really sure how to be playing. I feel like, you know, when your team's winning like that, you don't really pay attention too much to what you're doing.
Yeah,
let me go up here.
Massive nade. Sleeps need to work on landing those a little bit here because I think we haven't hit too many of those.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know if it was worth.
No, definitely not worth dropping, because you can also, from that high ground, you can leap to the other high ground. Like, you don't need to ever drop. You can just kind of just jump over to the other one. So there should never really be a reason why we drop from high ground in this situation. Okay, nice abilities. Okay, when you are especially into someone that you are sleeping, your proper combo with your nade is going to be shoot then nade, because the animation cancels into each other. It's going to be the fastest form of damage. So shoot nade, and then you can shoot again in like melee after that on most squishy targets.
Okay, so like if I sleep a tracer, then I want to shoot then nade, not nade then shoot.
Yes, correct. And then
okay.
Oh, but then even on a tracer, you have to be careful if she has her recall available. You shouldn't be using nade.
Okay.
Unless you know that you can finish her. If she's low HP, then you can finish her. If she's not low HP and she has recall, then you're not going to be able to finish her fast enough before she can recall.
Okay.
But if she doesn't have it, then go ahead.
Okay.
For a tracer, you just need a shoot nade and melee and she's dead. Same thing with the baby diva.
My hero.
Okay.
You're like a knight in flying armor.
Maybe that's why it's not consistent, because I usually do like nade, then shoot,
Mm-hmm.
and then melee. So maybe that's why it's
Also, I'd probably say that the biggest thing last round was positioning. Also, ability usage, just making sure you're getting value. Like if you press tab real quick, you see, I think we have 1 sleep, right? So just making sure you're
Yeah.
getting more value out of that. Biotic grenades, we landed a few more of. We got a bit more value out of, but I still think we could have gotten more. We did miss a lot of those. So positioning and ability usage, putting the focus in on those. We did really good. I think you did really good at keeping teammates and shooting at enemies. So like keeping up alive, teammates just doing normal base healing and damage. That was good.
Over there.
oh.
Yeah, good sleep.
No recovery.
And instead of backing like fully to spawn, might have even been a good idea to like maybe take the high ground, potentially.
Oh, okay. I just got really scared of the hog, but yeah, I see what you're saying there.
Because that kind of would have put us like away from the hog as well in that situation. All right. Good round. I don't think we need to demonstrate anything. Oh, on a one trick.
Well, I've been playing auto mostly. I think if I look at my career profile now,
Oh, wow.
it's mostly just been Ana, and I've been playing a bit of DPS, but yeah, usually just Ana, and then if Ana gets taken, it's usually Lucio or Zen, depending on what the comp is, and more if there's a Genji that just keeps killing everyone. I don't know.
Okay. Sounds good. Now you probably queue up again.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, I guess the one benefit of playing support is your queue times are so fast.
Yeah. That was also a really short game. That was like a 7-minute game.
Yeah. Oh, this map. I hate this map. There's just too much going on this map. It's hard to... So many flank routes. I want to ask, while we're waiting to set up, do you think tanks are too strong in Overwatch 2?
Too strong?
Or-
they're definitely stronger because it's they're buffing for the fact that it's 1 rather than 2. I don't know if I'd call them too strong because you can still get a lot of value on support and DPS. Like I wouldn't say it's particularly. Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's really super heavily tilted in their direction.
Maybe it's just like positioning for me, because I feel like I'm just always like they just run at me a lot of the times. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and yes, if you're in good positioning, they shouldn't be able to run at you. And also, if you're landing your abilities, right? How's the tank gonna kill you if you land the sleep, or if you land the nade? If you get a good nade in. Okay, make sure we have visibility over our team here.
Oh my god.
Stick with your team or really behind them. Yeah, so in that situation, right, like our whole team's going right side and we're kind of lagging behind really far. Even after we saw them pushing us, we still kind of like really slowly backed up instead of just sprinting straight for our team. Ping them all. Go ping, 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 ping. That way they know that, that they're behind, the enemy team's behind, or even communicate it when you're in chat. Self-nade. We self-naded when we were down like 40 HP. Right? Want to make sure we're just waiting a little bit longer on that.
Ooh.
Somehow that didn't hit me. I don't know how.
Oh, then hit. Oh, whoa! I thought she was dead. Oh my god. Okay, I gotta be careful here.
It's just a scratch. You'll be fine. Let's get going. Keep fighting. Over there.
Nice sleep.
The first.
Ooh.
Good nade, but then we kind of sprinted into them, right?
Yeah, I
So-
don't know. In that situation, I thought like I'm dead either way, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah, well, I think we still had our Baptiste there with us. Like
One of these days I'll
in that situation, we probably could have just kept backing up with our BAP, and we have BAP alive, we're alive, our May's alive. I think our Hanzo was still alive. Right there in that fight, we were down.
Mhm.
Like we were down a person, they were also down a person. So I think it was a 4v4 at that point.
I see you. Help me. Come in. Over there.
Widow's behind us somewhere.
Over there.
Yeah, just keep running back towards the fight. In that fight, I think we trying to think here because we have May Hanzo. Yeah, honestly, I think it's an okay nano on Hog. Just because we don't really have too many other better targets.
Oh, bad nade, bad nade. A Widow behind us.
Over there. Come over here. I've got you.
They're on Zarya now. No Widow, Junkrat.
I'll keep you up. Enemy in sight. Stand up straight. Eyes on a target. Keep fighting.
Okay, nice. Ping her a little bit earlier, and then also make sure, like, just we need to get used to ping a bit more so that we're not pausing while we're pinging, so that we can keep fighting as
Yeah.
we're pinging.
Okay.
You're powered up. Get in there. Cover, they've taken possession of.
All right.
Yeah, that was a little rough. I mean, I guess I should never really be in a position where Pharaoh's like on top of me.
Yeah, I think at the point in which Far was on top of us, fight was already lost. That wasn't really a major issue. Yeah.
Show it for your wound. Come over here. Come here to get me.
That's unfortunate with purple.
I'm on my
Oh no! I meant to hog there. Oh, that's my fault.
Yeah, just gotta be aware of our surroundings, right? Paying attention and making sure people aren't walking up in front of it or getting grabbed in
Yeah.
front of it.
How freeing. Enemy in sight. Targeting hostile. I have him. Keep fighting. Over there. Taking care of you.
Okay, right now we're really far behind our team. Make sure we're not letting them get too far ahead of us. That's just gonna mean that we're delayed in being able to do things. They might walk around the corner, stuff like that.
Taken from us. Under attack.
All right, so a couple things there. Firstly, gotta watch for bubble while we're going for sleep potentially. Secondly, just gotta gauge whether or not we can make it out. And then if you see that, okay, Zarya is probably gonna be able to get me here, just don't even
Yeah.
try running away, because then that just staggers you, right?
Okay.
I'm here. Keep fighting. You're powered up. Get in there. Eyes on the target.
Impede the enemy barricade.
Oh my god.
You're fine. I know you want.
This is our last chance to stop them. More grit than that.
All right, can I start real quick? All right, so major things I'm noticing are Biotic Grenade kills 3, enemy slept 3, sleep dart accuracy 25%, and then scoped accuracy 64%. That's what we're looking at this game, right? So we can look at that and identify that the primary issues in our gameplay, as of the current moment, isn't coming down to how much healing we're doing, how many shots we're landing, teammates that are dying. It's primarily coming to our lack of value out of abilities. Congrats. Big level up. All right, so it's primarily don't hop in a queue quite yet. We're gonna go. I guess we're gonna talk for a minute on it. Primarily, I'm just noticing a large lack of value in ability usage still. So why don't we discuss that a little bit? Maybe would you mind grabbing me the replay code for that last game, so we can
Yep.
look at a couple of the situations. Yeah, because last time ability usage was the biggest thing that we talked about with ult usage. Ult usage didn't seem that bad. That like, isn't that we didn't really have a bunch of great targets to work with, but we were using it frequently. We were popping it on the best target that we had available. So ult usage wasn't that bad, but I definitely would say that ability usage was the one struggling, and then also a little bit on the positioning, primarily just making sure we're keeping up with our team, and
Okay.
and whatnot. All right, I'm streaming.
Alright,
If you'd like to take a look,
yeah, I'm just gonna stop sharing quickly so I can see.
sure.
All right, awesome. Yep.
All right. So we've obviously already gone over a lot of the techie stuff, right? Remembering at longer ranges, we've already gone over scope tech, right? For landing nades, right? Using your ult charge.
Yeah. I don't
Mhm.
see. Oh, hold on. That's my fault. I can't. Okay, I can see your screen.
Yep. So we've already gone over that. I haven't really been noticing you using that, and I've noticed that we're still missing a lot of our nades. We miss most of our aggressive nades. You do land your teammate nades, I would say primarily because most of the time they're closer to us. And it
Mhm.
seems like we are generally speaking just having more of an issue with projectiles because you're pretty fairly accurate when it comes to your just flat up hit scan rifle, right? Like you're fine with landing shots with your gun, but when it comes to the
Mhm.
projectiles of our abilities, we seem to be having a lot of trouble actually landing shots on people. Let's see. Whoa, I'm having a brain fart. You're major, right, in game?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, okay. So let's look through a couple of these scenarios. We're going to go over a couple of them. Firstly, like I said, make sure you're using the scope tech more. I don't really think that our abilities got blocked too much. I don't think, because they only had a Zarya. I don't, and a Junker Queen. I don't think that our abilities were getting stopped um, by like shields and tanking abilities because they don't. The only thing they'd have that whole game for that would be bubbles, and they didn't really have a ton blocking. I would say that primarily we were missing shots, and then also sometimes like other things would happen to them. So like we can come through, and why don't we just take a look? Okay, what do we do with abilities during this fight? Right. We make this a little bit of a slow rotation, right? The whole team's on the right side. We kind of make the slow rotation. Then notice how we self nade here when we're down 75 HP. Maybe
Yeah.
not the time to be using it, right? Because firstly, we're around the corner. Secondly, maybe use it like when we're a little bit lower of HP because we're not going to get the max healing out of that. Or once they get closer to us, sleep. Firstly, we're kind of hovering here instead of running to the right. We're staying close. Sleep. You try to land. You could potentially wait for her to get closer to you to make this easier for yourself. Also, let's rewatch this for a second. Yeah, just making sure we're aiming at where we know she's gonna be, where she's moving. So here, she can't walk into the wall. She's walking to the left. We kind of have to lead her shot. If she's walking to the left, we have to lead it to the left so that it's not trailing behind her. So leading her shot there. And then obviously we die there. Let's get back. So that's 2 abilities that get wasted. Okay, so this sleep goes into a fence here, right? Just gotta watch the fence. I'm noticing we're doing a lot of flicking with sleeps too. Have we talked about when flicks are and when they aren't necessary?
I think for like normal shooting, but not with like sleeps or abilities. I
Pretty
don't
much
think.
the same thing would apply from normal shooting to ability usage.
Okay.
If somebody is not really moving very drastically, you don't need to make drastic movements with your crosshair, right?
Mhm.
So you use it against fast-moving targets. So tracers blinking around you, someone who sneaks up behind you. Anytime your crosshair needs to travel somewhere where fast, you flick. But otherwise, there's not going to be a big reason for it because here we kind of just over adjust and put it into the glassing here. Okay, nice kill. We just hit the shots perfectly. Here, this one was weird. I don't know, like hit the legs of the robot, and it kind of like it should have hit, but it didn't hit. You see that? Oh, it did hit her. Never mind, it did get her. Okay. While we were playing, it looked like it didn't get her, but
I don't know how she survived though.
yeah,
But maybe
she
just
was kind of nice luck. Here we have abilities. Probably would have been good to chuck it on like the Junker Queen. Here, get aggressive nade going. I also noticed that we didn't really use as many aggressive nades as we should have, right? We did use it a decent, a little bit, but I think we missed a lot of circumstances where we could have been using it aggressively. I don't know if I've ever talked about the ratio in which you should be doing healing to a heal nade to anti nade. But generally speaking, healing comes when healing's necessary. Like when healing is needed, you heal nade when healing nades are needed, and then you anti nade any other time. And
Okay.
I would notice a lot of times where we would heal nade when we didn't really need to heal nade, where people like where our teammates weren't really in danger or weren't low. And then we would sometimes hold on to it and not really look for aggressive anti nades. And then because we weren't actively seeking it out, we weren't getting a ton of value that we could have been getting. Um, generally speaking, this will differ from game to game, situation to situation, but generally your split's going to be roughly speaking about 40% healing, 60% anti. Right?
Okay.
It's heavier leaning on the anti side, whereas we're heavier leaning on the healing side with it. Okay, so here we're kind of holding on to abilities. Okay, we're pushing. Let's see. Maybe we should do like 1.25 or something like that. See how we're using our abilities.
I think a hard part for me specifically with this map is that there's like a lot of narrow. There's a lot more real estate on the map compared to some other maps. So I think when you kind of see me like just kind of move it around and hovering, I'm trying to think like, okay, do I go high ground or how do I get into a position where I can potentially throw a nade? You know, because I'm in my head, I'm thinking like I'm just gonna throw it against the wall, or these maps kind of mess with my head a bit, trying to figure out where I should be
Yeah.
at certain times.
Which is fine. I think there were a couple times like where we did do that. I don't think that was the majority of the time that we were hovering. It was just a couple situations where we did it. A lot of the times the nade, like the lack of nade, especially later on. This was a good nade. But we kind of ran into them here instead of maybe positioning over with the BAP if we go for lamp and then go over like start backing up to where Hans is at. We'll kind of go over as we come to it. Okay. Here we use the nade. Notice how we go for we chuck it at Hog. That now it still hits the Junker Queen, I think, on the other side of him. But we also probably could have gotten like maybe the May 2 in it if we got it around further on their side. So it's just looking to hit more people with it. Here, maybe could be going on a sleep on the May, but we kind of don't really use sleep at all. That would open up for an easy kill. That's kind of ridiculous, that range on that. You're getting purpled while she's there. That's a little bit ridiculous. There we go.
Oh yeah, Junker Queen, yeah.
Okay. Good sleep. Okay, we landed that one. I think a lot more of it is going to come later on. Here we nade really late. We're like 13 HP, and she's shooting at us. I mean, and now we nade. So we naded really late there. Here we're going to sleep really late. We want to be sleeping instantly as soon as Widow shoots at us, but we're kind of waiting until she's about to run around the corner. So don't hold on to it when you see the opportunity for it. And if you're waiting until they're right about to run away, that's going to make it even harder for you to land that sleep than if she's just standing there shooting at you.
Pushing the barricade.
And then here we're going to miss again, so we chuck in the nade, miss that nade. Sleep. Once again, noticing they're all either one of two things. Either they're way too rushed, or we hold on to them when there's the perfect opportunity in front of us. Right? So there's going to be those different scenarios, right? Of using them. Like if you're 1 HP, you should be rushing your self-heal nade. There's no need. It's not like, oh, I need to perfectly plan. I need to perfectly plan how I'm going to self-heal, right?
Yeah.
There's not a necessity in that case. If you have a Widowmaker who is standing still right next to you, and in your full HP, maybe not as much of a necessity to rush the sleep. Or in this scenario, like a second ago when we chucked in the nade, when we're just going for the ante, it's not a necessity that we rush it. So just be careful because we're kind of flip-flopping some of these where we're holding on to the nades when we should be using it fast, or we're using it way too fast when we should be looking for like just as good of a nade as we can get, or good as a sleep as we can get. There we run away from the duel when she's 1 HP. Just finish her off, and then that way we're not giving up high ground either.
Feeling fortified. I won't let you fall.
Okay, good nade there.
I've got you.
Okay.
Wait, stupid question, because I actually don't know. You can't heal Mei when she's in cryo, right? Or whatever it's called.
They've changed that throughout the years. Let me see. Did we try here? Maybe we can see.
I think I tried to heal her, yeah.
Well,
I
Hog
just
stepped in front of that one.
I've got you.
As of
I
the
think they
current
changed it so she
moment,
can't.
I
I don't know for sure.
I think that it's no. I haven't. It's been a little bit since I've played with Maze in my game, playing
Yeah.
a healer, so it's hard to say. But I'm pretty sure that it's no.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll just have to test it.
So here, right? I think we're gonna miss here on the Ashe with both abilities, if I'm not mistaken. Ashe goes left side. Okay. Notice the nade when they already have Immor up and they're around the corner.
Yeah.
And we could just be normal healing. Okay, we chuck in the sleep. Notice how this sleep is like just nowhere near Ashe whatsoever. Right? We're landing
Yeah.
we're landing great shots. We're already aiming at her here, and then notice how we're already aiming at her, and then last second we just flick off to the right. Right, and then she's also, if we're looking at her as a character, make sure we're just watching her, watch her feet, watch the direction she's moving. She's not moving to the right; she's moving to the left. Right,
Yeah.
so we should be aiming to the left, aiming ahead of where she's going. A thing that I think might be helpful for you at practicing, with your ability, especially your sleep usage. Have you done on a paintball at all?
Yeah, not as much as I should probably, but I've done it a few times.
I would say if you're an Ana player, you should not be warming up using Widow Headshot. You should go and do some Ana paintball. That is,
Okay.
and then do an Ana paintball that has sleeps enabled. And that they're not and you can do Ana paintballs where like their sleeps on like a 3-second cooldown or a 5-second cooldown or something like that, rather than it being the whole duration. And that will probably be a much better. That'll be a pretty decent environment to practice your sleeps. Just chuck them out. Don't don't be afraid to do a long distance sleep because you get it back so fast. But really practice on it, focus on it, warm up with it. We're just missing way too many. We're landing 1 in every 4 sleeps that we fire. Right, and that's not a great rate to have. Especially when we're comparing that to like our 67% accuracy on our gun, where we're landing 7 out of 10, which is much higher rate than 1 in 4. Okay.
Stand up straight.
Here we kind of dueling her. We ping her a little late, then we do ping her. We stop shooting for a second. Okay. So here, let's notice here. We come again to this fight, and I think this is where maybe we could be using our abilities a bit more aggro. Potentially, right? We have a ton of time during this fight. We can maybe be using this time to like run up and take a high ground. A better nade from up here. Probably be pretty solid. It's not this is in between a fight, and that's the perfect time to be rotating because you have plenty of time to be rotating. Okay. Okay, notice how we're healing Hog, who's like down a little bit, and then we these guys kind of get rolled. That nade's okay. That Nano, I feel, got a little bit lucky because of the fact that he landed that hook. Whereas before he landed that hook, he wasn't really near anything. So you want to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why I nanoed him there. I think did I nano him when the tire came out?
No, you nanoed him after tire.
After, okay, I'll say it.
Okay, here, once again, sleep gets missed. Let's see it. Okay, firstly, nade. Wait, let's watch nade real quick. We chuck a nade. We see Hog, but he's also self-healing, and once again, we kind of feel like it's a little rushed. Sleep. Once again, we're firing sleep the moment that we see him. Right. Look how rushed these abilities are. We see, okay, Hog, he's getting healed, and we just chuck it. And then Junkrat, we saw him for half a second, and then we're already firing sleep. Right. Take a second, line it up. This is not a situation where we need be firing it within the first half second. Maybe make it a second. Gives you 2 times the amount of time to be thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
He's moving towards you. Right now, when he's moving towards you, is he able to go to the right?
Right now, no. He's like stuck in a linear like path.
Yeah, he can't go to
Oh,
the right because there's something in the way. What's in the way?
oh, that's the May thing or the ice.
The
Wait, what
wall.
am I?
The
Oh,
wall. The wall to his left.
sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Right.
yeah, his only option is to move to his right, which is my left,
Yep.
or walk straight.
Exactly. Right. And generally speaking as well, especially the higher up you go, do people like walk at you in straight lines,
Ready?
or should they be walking at you in straight lines?
No. The higher I go, the more unpredictable their movement will be most of
Yeah.
the time.
So let's see, crosshair straight on him. We actually we actually had it on him, and then we aimed above him for a second there, but then he moves to the left and he dodges it, right?
Yeah.
So that's the only place he could have gone in the first place, right? So we want to be watching where are they moving, leading our shot, aiming ahead of him. Yeah, just practice with those abilities. Like I said, it's not sleep. We're using it frequently. We're getting it out there. You're good on that, and it's connecting the sleep. Nade, it's not that anything's getting in the way of our nades. We one thing would just be a little bit of a mindset shift in the heal versus nade, but then also and making sure we're going for antis, but then also actually connecting them when we do go for antis, because we a couple that these aren't connecting. We got about we'll do like the wrap up review for the last like 8 minutes or so, but we've got another like 20 minutes here. Do you feel like this is helping kind of breaking, like trying to slow it down and break down these abilities?
Yeah, no, it definitely does for sure. Because like in the moment, there's so much things going on. So having this kind of like slower breakdown definitely helps.
Yeah, and then like I said, or like I've been saying, if this is your highest priority, make this the thing you're focusing on, right? That's the improvement process. That's the focusing.
Hmm.
Is while you're playing, this should be like, if this is the biggest thing, which as of the moment I think it is the biggest thing, this should be like where most of your attention is. Now, let me break down a little bit of this because I don't know if I've gone over. Maybe I did this in like first session, but I can't remember. Like interrupt me if this sounds super familiar. But when you are playing and you're improving and you're focusing on things, it's not a 100% focus. If you're putting 100% of your attention on sleep, well then how are you supposed to shoot with 0% of your brain? Right? That's not how that
Hmm.
works. That doesn't make any sense, right? But
Hmm.
what we mean by focusing on something is, let's say you have 100% of your brain and you're allotting your brain to different things. So maybe if we have the 5 main categories that we've been talking about, we have ability usage, ult usage, mechanics, positioning, and awareness, right? If we have those main 5 categories,
Hmm.
maybe our aim, if we're intentionally trying to focus on our ability usage, maybe we give 10% to aim, 10% to ults, 10% to positioning, 10% to awareness, and then 50% to abilities. Right? It's not
Hmm.
that we're giving everything to our abilities, but we're kind of putting those other ones on autopilot. We're letting them just exist as is because we've been playing the game to a long enough degree to where we don't need to pay attention to shoot and be okay at it, right?
Hmm.
You don't need to pay attention to, be able to follow your team around and whatnot. But If you're trying to work on your ability usage, you should be paying more attention, putting the thought and effort and just reminding yourself constantly to think about it. If like with the priority list, maybe let's say, okay, if we're saying ability usage is number 1, positioning is number 2, then you would do something like this where you do, okay, ability usage is maybe like a, I don't know, 45, 50, and then maybe instead of doing a 10, we could positioning at like a 20%, where we're just maybe thinking about it a little bit more than the other things, and then putting the other things a bit lower on the list. But it's just, how are you allotting kind of the brain power in these games, and you want to make sure that we're putting the attention necessary into these abilities.
Okay.
That kind of makes sense.
Yep.
All right, great shots.
They've taken possession.
Here at this point, the fight's already lost, right? There's no use in trying to run away. Okay, we come up here. Okay, we see this Arya. Okay, we throw in the nade. We land it. Okay, kind of grouping up with our team at the moment. Okay. Notice that this right here, what their Ana does, this is the power of the anti-nade. If we're able to heal these guys up, maybe they don't die, right? It's not the barrage that kills them, it's the nade here. Because they're locked at 1 HP, both of them. Like, they're locked at this HP. And barrage is just the finisher. Nade is really what killed them here, not the barrage. Because if you if you were able to have healed them up, they'd be full HP, and if they're full HP, they just run around the corner, right? So, just, that's what we want to be looking for. Whereas we didn't really, come into the fight looking for that. Let's see, we're up here. Maybe we could have. Well, we're up here, right? Maybe we could have looked for a nade from this window. That's potentially something we could have done, like just real quick, where we glance out here. Maybe we.
Yeah, I didn't even realize the Ana was there. Like, I'm only realizing that now, like, with the replay, because when they got naded, I had no idea where she was.
Yeah.
Could even yeah.
Yeah, potentially we could have chucked a nade at their Ana and Zarya potentially, right? I'd be careful about trying to nade Zarya too much, just because she's gonna be able to bubble it, with 2 bubbles so easily. So I'd be careful about trying to focus on her with those. Okay. So coming in this fight, once again, this is going to be one of those fights where it doesn't even, last fight, this fight doesn't look like we even really are thinking too much about how we're using our nades. Like here right now, we're kind of holding on to abilities that we could be using. Notice how we turn this corner and immediately chuck a nade. Like the second, even if we put this back to regular speed, look how fast this nade is chucked. When we don't even, we do it before we even see what's happening. Right, we turn and nade, right? It's just really rush nade, and as such, rushed abilities are missed abilities. Generally speaking, you can, once you get better at them, be faster with them. Of course, you don't want to be slow with your ability. I don't want that to be misunderstood. You don't want to be using your abilities slow, but if using your abilities too fast means that you're missing them because you're not putting the proper attention into them, then it's just going to be 0 value. So start off slow, put the effort and attention, and then as you get better with it, then you'll start to be faster and faster and faster, where you'll be able to make the split-second sleep, the split-second nade. But that doesn't come instantaneously. Okay. Watch standing still for extended periods of time, just in case people are looking at you. Actually, I mean, they don't actually have anybody alive right now. What are they? They're running. Actually, you'd be fine. On their team, the only thing they'd even have to reach you would be the Ana. But at the same time, still not a wonderful habit to build up. Right now, notice how we still aren't really using abilities. We're not really actively seeking abilities. We probably could be chucking in an anti-nade right about now. Uh-oh. We go for the self-heal, which is self-heal nade. That was fine, because we're in grab. Okay, we could be going for a sleep at any point here. We're kind of holding on to it.
I have you. Keep fighting.
Freeze!
Okay. Here, I think we're lagging behind our team a little bit. Right, probably wanted to keep up with them. Whereas, you know, notice how far Hog is in front of you. Whereas Hog doesn't have any faster movement speed than you do.
In tip
Freeze!
Okay. I'm so happy. I don't know if you watch your Overwatch at all. But I was happy the other day when they're also like a news and coaching, just all things Overwatch channel.
Your
And
Overwatch. Is that from that sounds familiar. I'm pretty sure I've seen a video or
Mhm.
something from there.
Yeah, I actually used to play with the owner of the channel a ton. But in any case, I enjoy it as well when he said this, because I say this all the time as well when I'm coaching people, in that when you land anti-nades, you essentially are causing your team to take less damage, right? When you use it aggressively, it's also acting as a defense, because when you land an anti-nade, they have a couple choices. Either they push, in which case your team melts them. They stand still, in which case you still get a lot of value and you can kind of poke them down. Or they back up, which is probably what they want to do in a lot of cases. And in that case, now your team is taking less damage and you've created space and pressure, right? So any way it goes, you get value in most of these cases. So when you land a fat, like let's say we were up further to start this fight, and we chuck in a nade and we get a 2-man anti right there, or 3, let's say Bubble's not there, and we get right? Then that means they have to back up, and now Farah's attention isn't shooting, it's backing. And that means that now we don't need to use the nade. We don't even need to use the nade defensively. So when you flip-flop it and you make nade the priority and you're nading more earlier in the fight and you're getting big nades in, then you also start to notice less of a need for the healing nades as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so here, that's okay of a nade, but definitely could have just been better if we used it earlier offensively. Notice once again how far ahead your team is. Want to make sure we're keeping up. None of these guys have more movement than you do, right? Hog, you move the same speed as Hog. So if Hog's all the way up there and we're all the way back here, that's just because he's pressing W and we're not pressing W. We probably could have, like, in that time as well, if we wanted to, at some point there, move to the high ground. But, you know, that would have been decent, but at this point, it doesn't matter. Okay, notice here we use this nade kind of unnecessarily. Notice how he baps around the corner right now.
Yeah, I could have just healed him though.
Could have just healed him. And then once again, nade could have been used. We're also lagging behind in this fight once again. Notice how we're like, they're all the way up here and we're all the way back here. So we could have been maybe going for an aggro nade, but we're pretty far back. Good sleep. We got him that time.
Yeah, I think the curious where the Zarya chases. No.
Yeah. We just, in that situation, we just back up really slowly. And yeah, we already went over that one. Okay, once again, maybe a little bit of a rush sleep. He's not gonna, in a lot of cases, you're not gonna be dead in 0.5 seconds. If it's a blade, maybe so, but not if he's just dashing at you. He also is not even going for you here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this was fine because we didn't really have many other better options. Good self-heal nade. Yeah, we also caught the Lucio in it too. Okay. Thing, there's another situation. Okay, we miss a sleep there. Okay. she kind of juices out there. She goes right and then she goes left. So we kind of just got to watch for that. That's where maybe we can flick at the last second if we're off of her and we're not on her. We go back to the left if we see she's moving. Here, there probably would have been a decent anti-nade, right? That watch how Lucio and Moira group up and we have the perfect angle on it right now. And we have the anti. So that probably would have been pretty decent. And then I think we win this fight. If I'm not mistaken. Alright. Let's exit out. All making sense. Any questions on those?
Makes sense. I think it's pretty clear. Just rushing the abilities. I think we were like 1 for however many. So rushing those abilities definitely is a problem. I think just taking a few more seconds or even just a half a second longer to try to line it up is better than just instantly throwing it out, Maybe in the small situation where like someone's on top of me, I need to quickly click fine, but I definitely should be hitting a lot more than I am.
Exactly. And you're also just going to see a large increase in the value we get out of it. Ability usage, we just went all things ability usage. Honestly, that's like most of the session. To be honest, this is a kind of an ability usage session. So obviously that's probably going to be number 1. And that means it's kind of right now it's a medium high priority. Sleep, practice at it, maybe do some more on a paintball. Use that. Intentionally think about it, put effort into it. Don't just chuck them out instantaneously. Take a little more time to line them up. Lead your shots, aim where people are going to move. Bot's moving to the right. I'm aiming ahead of where bot's at so that bot connects. Or sorry, connects with the bot, right? Nade, same thing. Except for it has a bit wider a radius. Make sure we're going for the antis, right? Use it a bit more frequently. And when you land those antis, it means there's less of a necessity for the healing. Heal when it's needed. Don't throw healing nades if it's not needed. When people aren't in danger or low HP. Yeah, I'd say that's a lot of them. Scope nade tech, right? So you can land those longer range nades that we're missing. And just be active, put effort into it. Then moving on, we got ult usage. First round, maybe there's a little bit of stuff with ult usage, not super atrocious. Better than it was last time. If last time it was the number 1 thing, this time it's not number 1. So there is improvement with it. I like that you're thinking through that you're still thinking through target priority with it. Just make sure you're keeping to that, right? Make sure that you're not nanoing people when they're not near anybody. I'd probably say that was the biggest one that I saw, was that we would nano somebody who was it. Like this would be the hog, and he's like that far away from their team, and you're like, okay, well, what's hog gonna do with that, right?
Yeah.
Or the ball that one time when we nanoed a ball, and like the enemy team was like all the way over there, and ball was like here, right? And it was like, what? Scratching head. How is he gonna shoot people, right?
Yeah.
Overall, though, probably about like a low to medium, maybe higher end of that. Then we have your mechanics. Watch a little bit of overhealing, not a ton of overhealing. Trying to think if there's anything else we went over with mechanics. Couple other minor things, of course. It's not perfect. But I think that was probably the biggest thing I noticed in mechanics. But so overall, about a low to medium. Then we have your positioning. Make sure you're using cover. Good positioning, use cover. Bad positioning, absence of cover. Take high grounds. Come into. You don't want to take long rotations in the middle of fights. So be careful about trying to go take a high ground while the fight's happening. Because if we're doing this where the fight's happening and then we're like, okay, I'm going all the way around up. Well, now you just spend a lot of time outside of the fight. So you want to be careful about that. Don't spend too far out of the fight. Do it in between fights, because in between fights you have like 20 seconds of time to make those rotations. So rotate to the best positioning possible in between fights. Take high ground. Besides that, stick with your team. Don't let them walk super far ahead of you. That happens sometimes. That can happen if, 1, you're not paying attention to where they're going. 2, if you're just sitting there scoping. then you're gonna be inching forwards while they're just walking forwards normally. So if they're walking forwards, maybe consider doing some quick scopes or even just some unscoped scopes or shots, and just keep up with them. Yeah, don't be too isolated from your team. If they're pushing you, stay with your team if they're on top of you. Overall, that was probably more of like a high end of a medium. And then finally, we have awareness. Awareness, just pay attention to your surroundings. What's happening in tab and what's happening in kill feed. Who's winning, who's losing. Right, make sure you're getting out if you can. If we've lost the fight, get out if you can. If you can't, let them kill you and don't walk into lost fights. Then just generally pay attention to your surroundings. Danger level of teammates and enemies is one thing. Pay attention to how enemies are moving. What direction are they moving in? Right, so kind of odds and ends things. Overall, that probably went to a medium. So to put that all in order, number 1 was ability usage. Number 2 was positioning. Number 3 was mechanics. Or sorry, awareness. Sorry, not mechanics. Number 3 is awareness. 4 was going to be 4 is ult usage, then 5 was mechanics. Any questions?
Okay. No, I think that's pretty clear for the most part. I think might have some more during our next session, but I think right now it's pretty clear what I need to work on. So
yeah,
I'll just work on that.
Yeah, the other thing with warm-ups as well, you said that you only play an wait, no, I might be mixing. Sorry, I think I just had a little bit of a brain fart, maybe mixing up one of the sessions I had earlier today. Did you say that you are like this last week you played like an hour a day, or is that someone else?
I didn't play as much. I played like probably, if I have to equate it to a number of matches daily, I probably played like 2 matches a day. It's just this week has been pretty busy for me, so I've definitely got into at least play like 1 to 2 matches a day.
Okay.
And then a lot of the times it just be like either in one of those like FFA lobbies, just trying to keep my aim up.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Especially if that's the case, you don't have a ton of time. Don't waste it in quick play. Right? Like if you're playing competitively, like right, if you're prioritizing comp, prioritize comp. Right? I wouldn't warm up in quick play. Do some, since your queue's 1 minute long. Right, do like 10, 15 minutes of on a paintball, Kovacs, other aim intensive modes, tried free for all. Tried free for all is probably gonna be a good one, like that you can practice your even on Ana. You can go in as Ana and practice dueling people, right? So when the Genji and the Junkrat get on top of you, you're able to more effectively land your sleeps and your nades, right? That sort of thing, and your duels. Also to show you real quick that combo I was talking about is typically going to be when you land a sleep on someone at sleep. Okay, you're gonna do shoot, nade, shoot melee, and that's gonna kind of be the fastest burst you have.
Okay.
All right. I think that's about it. Okay. Any final questions?
Nah, not right now, but I'll definitely probably have some for the next session.